to have breakfast.
Yeah.
For me, it's not that important. I
Yeah.
feel like breakfast is just a manufactured word by cereal companies
Wow.
who just thought you need to have breakfast. Is the most important meal of the day. I
Yeah.
feel like if you're not hungry,
Yeah.
if you have, you know, like
Yeah.
you don't have time to calculate what am I going to eat.
Yep.
Eggs are going to take
Yep.
too long.
Yep.
Go on with your day. Then
Yeah.
at 11,
Yeah.
now sit down, get
Yeah.
your cheese, get
Yes.
your yogurt, make sure that you are well prepped for that meal.
Yeah. I think for me, especially when it comes to breakfast,
Yeah.
I think it's the hardest of the meals to
Right?
have all the food groups.
Yes.
Because half the time you're like, I need to dash off to the office.
Yes,
I'm
I'm
gonna spend a
late,
few minutes
traffic.
with the kids. Yeah. So what I find myself often doing is, you just pop that cup of hot water in the microwave,
Yeah.
make your hot chocolate or whatever it is, a few slices of bread, and you're done.
Yeah.
So for sure,
Yes.
I know that that's not healthy, but the reality is that's probably what I do
Yes.
most days.
And most people. Yes,
Probably.
yes.
So with breakfast, I think for me at least,
Yes.
it's been one of the challenges. So one of the things probably I want to learn how to do is, can I have an orange, for example, in addition to whatever my breakfast looks
Right.
like. I'm trying to shift to a more healthy breakfast. For
Yes.
me, that means oats.
Yes.
Yeah,
But-
I haven't won the battle against wheat. I feel like I have an unhealthy relationship
wheat
with
and
wheat.
sugar has
and
just
sugar.
taken over.
Yep,
Yes.
yep.
You mix those two things and
yeah.
whatever comes out.
Yeah, it's like I
Yes.
know it's like our bodies are just drawn to it.
Yes.
So for breakfast, I think the easiest thing would be maybe to introduce a fruit.
Yes.
Yeah, so whether it's a few pieces of pineapple, or if there's a mango or
Yes.
orange, or something like that. Yeah, so for breakfast, I do find that it's a little complex because
Yeah.
oftentimes we are sort of running
Right.
to start the day.
There is no time to
Yes.
even sit and actually enjoy
and
the entire
process it.
meal. Yes.
Yes.
So me, if I
Yeah.
can give my take on breakfast, what
Yeah.
I do is that I put in protein,
Yeah.
which is a bit of yogurt, which
Okay.
is very good. Yogurt is good, even better than fresh milk,
Okay.
because it has the fermentation process.
Yes,
It has
yes.
good bacteria that is
Yes.
good for your stomach and
Yeah.
just general health of your organs.
Yeah.
And then you can have some nuts.
Yeah.
those are
That's a great
good.
idea. Yeah.
Yes. What I also do, I make veggies in the morning.
Veggie soup.
No.
Veggies.
Spinach. I just
Oh,
took a
really?
5 leaves, cut them.
Uh-huh.
Kitungu. The same time it would have taken me to fry an egg. It's the same time it takes.
That's true.
Because it
That's
doesn't take long to
true.
cook spinach.
Yeah.
Then you have your greens.
Okay, that's true. I had not
Yeah.
thought of that.
And then the other thought is fruits,
Yeah.
which is always a good idea.
Absolutely.
And then your protein,
Yeah.
you can either do an egg any day. There
Yeah.
is this facade that eggs are bad for your
Yeah.
health. I don't believe that, because
Okay.
I actually did an egg diet once for a month. You
Okay.
just eat a whole crate of eggs and
Wow.
you do your cardio, of course.
Yeah.
Don't do that and not do
Uh-huh,
cardio.
uh-huh.
You need your cardio exercise when you're doing that.
Yeah.
So you can have eggs every day
Yeah.
to be your source of protein,
Okay.
or bacon,
Uh-huh.
or now the other meats.
Okay.
Please do not go for processed meat. Sausage is a processed meat.
Okay.
Bacon is not.
Okay.
So just some of
So
the
the
ideas that
unprocessed
we
meats
can
are
put
healthier.
into that.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds
Yes.
good. Yeah.
So my other question is, you did a sermon
Yes.
that was talking about nutrition, and
Yeah.
just give us a recap of what were your takeaways for that sermon in
Yeah.
terms of God's intention.
Yeah, so I think I was basically sharing that when it comes to health and things like healthcare,
Yeah.
it's easy for people to think that these are things that God doesn't care about. It's easy to think these are things that are way out there,
Yeah.
Especially for you and me who can probably afford a certain health
Insurance,
coverage,
yeah.
so we go to a certain type of hospital. It's easy for us to completely not identify with the people who don't have that privilege,
Yeah.
and to think that because we have the privilege, then it doesn't matter before God.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, the argument that I was raising is that when I read my Bible, I find that God really does care about the least of the least, about the poor people. When I read the Old Testament, I find God constantly talking about orphans and widows.
Right.
And the thing really, the agenda there is he's talking about the least privileged, the people who have the lowest likelihood of creating and owning wealth.
Right.
Those are the kind of people he was talking about, and he shows concern consistently
Yeah.
for them. So I think for me the argument really was to say that even for us as kawaida Kenyans who probably can afford certain privileges,
Yeah.
we need to show or to share God's heart for helping out those people who cannot afford the privileges we have. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own takeaway in each
Absolutely.
sermon, because I got a different concept.
Absolutely. Tell me what came out of it for you.
No, me, I got the fact that God needs us to obey. He
Absolutely.
really asks us to obey, and that is why when He put us in the Garden of Eden, it had what you need to survive and to thrive and not be sick, because actually our bodies are self-healing. And for me, I felt like we are disobeying God when we go and we put things that we have not calculated into our body and ingest it.
Absolutely.
That's how I got it. Like God cares what you put in your mouth. He's that petty.
I know. He really does, because He cares about you and me. So anything that harms you and me. Here's the thing: God loves us so much that anything that hurts you, anything that hurts me, it concerns Him, because He's my Father. In the same way, I'm concerned. And I feel bad if someone or something is hurting my child. That's how God looks at us as His children. So you are right. I mean, it was a long sermon. We did talk a number of things. I know one of the things I said is you're the first healthcare professional for your kids. I'm the first healthcare professional for my kids.
They are watching you.
Yes, and one of the examples I gave was, you know, we get to choose what our kids eat. We get to decide, do they exercise or not? Do we allow them to sit and watch TV all day? So one of the things I do is I force them to exercise, and I say you can't watch cartoons until you've done a certain number of laps on your bike. And for me, I know what I'm trying to build them towards, and for me, it's in pursuit of health. So absolutely, it's something definitely that God cares about.
Awesome. So I think we'll go to the last thing which brought us to, which is exercise. And just tell us, what is your journey in terms of exercising and just your diet regime. Get really specific, not just generally. And then so that people can also borrow from that, because I can talk about it all day, but they are like, this one is a farmer, she has time, but you're in corporate. What hours do you go to do these things?